Hello, Uberwolf.
Bonjour, et ça va?
Comme ça, et toi?
Oh, je say yes.
Word. Sam.
Word.
Let me turn you up just a little bit. Caution Cat.
Hey.
That's pretty good. And finally, Heather.
Yo.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm privately amused that you jump back and forth between usernames and handles.
I sure did. It was on purpose. All things I do are on purpose. At least that's what I want you to believe. So, if you've got your recording software open, feel free to begin recording. Or, don't. That's fine too. I would like to call for a recap before we begin. I will fill in details, but I will leave it to the party to, start us off.
Sorry, trying to get my ping down to something reasonable. Because it was stupid.
Yeah, ping tends to climb if you are outside of window or if you have other things running. Unless you mean your communication ping, then I can't help you.
Last game was pretty much negotiating with the devils as they came to collect their due.
Yeah, they all came and well, yeah, I guess I can't add anything to that. It was a whole lot of who's like was at the head of it? Alina?
Bones.
Bones.
Yeah, Bones was the face, Alina was the muscle. Along with several other muscles and faces and collaborators, but for the most part,
clerics and paladins was definitely
more or less.
They wanted to know information about things that we may have had or knew about. Turned out that the person we were talking to, whose name I can't recall, could read minds. So it behooved us to tell as much of the truth as we could.
I don't think we realized that until like after we were done.
No, yeah, after the very end.
Because I remember there was that moment where Vanya was trying to be coy and he just called her by name.
Yep. Sure did.
Yeah, like Calavera, they are looking for Calavera but don't know where she is. They're looking for someone else. I can't remember the other demon type they were looking for.
They're looking for the insectoid that was one of the slaves.
Yes.
The one that wanted to see the stars.
Yes, Mati, the Automata Devil.
They were kind of going down a roster of all the devils in Till's employ.
Yeah. Noted that we had indeed sent Till down, who is going to be like they're deciding what to do with him. Whether to like keep him alive for all of his knowledge and have him work, or just like melt him down for his base components.
That is the gist of it. They could not decide, or rather there was some discussion, some debate as to whether he would be more useful or more able to pay off his debts through indentured servitude, or if it would be best to break him down into larva.
I know we were able to secure the independence, quote unquote, of the Tear of the Moon. They seemed relatively okay that we're keeping that here. But there was something that we did towards the end, some claim that we made.
The adamantine armor.
That was it.
That pissed them off.
Which even Bones was like, okay, we'll bring it back to like, we'll bring it back. Like we'll figure it out. We can, maybe split it or something. And he's like, no, because basically like because it was already in Bones's living room.
Oh yeah, she moved it onto her domain. Just straight up claimed it out from under them.
It seemed a simple act of removing it from this plane, or perhaps the act of bringing it to your domicile within the Feywild. Complicated matters to the point that he was willing to simply cut his losses.
And he did not like cutting his losses.
No, he did not. You also succeeded in turning him off from taking the 3 amalgamates, the engineers, who I believe Leah is working on.
Indeed.
Furthermore,
Well,
he
that
had
was
questions. Yeah, he had questions about the other alchemist, the Titivilis. Titivilis. He has Titi in the name. Titivilis. And Bones, I believe, showed Nasus the symbol that Titivilis carried with him. He did not seem to feel strongly one way or another, but suggested that Bones simply keep that to herself.
Which symbol was that?
There was a symbol that the bird, the Nagpa, was carrying. It looked almost like a set of knuckle dusters, a circle with a couple of spires on the top.
Okay.
I think it is in the Journals tab. Should be available for everyone underneath Discoveries. Everyone is now the observer. Hey,
Yeah,
you
that one.
found it! The knuckle dusters. Those are the ones. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Additionally, at one point, Bones was able to secure the contract, and after going over the contract with the Gilnean, you pretty much figured out the ins and outs of what could and could not be exploited. You guys discovered there's quite a bit that could be exploited. But the big ones. You secured the Tier of the Moon. You ensured that no shenanigans or chicanery would befall the temple itself. You took pity on the engineers and managed to keep them alive? Question mark? Are they alive? We don't know. They're constructs? They're not constructs. Who knows what they are? Additionally, before the repo men arrived, let's see. Was that the game before? I think it was the game before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the game before.
Notably, pre-game, Alina did spend some time cleaning up that area and awaiting some kind of change. Alina, as far as you know, there are things budding down there. There's growth. There's rapid growth. But you're not really a naturalist. You estimate, hey, maybe in a day or two there'll be some. Maybe sooner, but it's really hard to say. I believe in IMs you had mentioned keeping Alina behind to essentially foster this situation.
Yeah, she just wants to she feels like not like wholly responsible, but like she's a proud dad of this small mushroom colony.
Oh, that's precious. I love that.
And would like to check in if anyone if any of them want to go traveling, or are sentient and want to go traveling. She's happy to be like, all right, we're going. You're coming with me. Otherwise, they can chill at the temple and do the thing.
Hell yeah. So, with that said, were there any other moments that stuck out with people? Insights that they had about last game that they would like to share or reiterate upon, or questions that were left unanswered from the previous session before we jump into tonight's game?
Well, I know Biff went and talked to Roar about the possibility about like mending his broken glass shard. But because it was a godly item, that was very unlikely to impossible to do. So Biff is gonna keep searching for answers.
Right, and I believe the way that I had explained it to Roar is that it's within his wheelhouse, but there's a non-zero chance of failure, and that is certainly a risk that should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, Roar pretty much understands that short of having like sovereign glue to immediately hold the shit together, anything that he tries could cause it to finish shattering.
I don't know if it was last game or the game before where I asked the question about I think it was the game before about some of the revelations in Till's documents, his journals, making its way back to Karn.
I don't know if that information was brought to Karn. Was there a specific, like out of character, was there a specific thing that you were trying to get a hold of?
Yeah,
that is there from the Koboloi.
Yeah, the Koboloi visitor.
Yeah, I think it would make sense for the party to talk about that, or for Karn to ask around.
Yeah, no, so Karn was right there with Alina when Mbanje came back, started talking about it, and then Roar got pulled in and was able to talk about the ones that he knew of having visited based off the ledger that he read. So it would have been said out loud for Karn to know.
Right, a small folk that was neither halfling nor gnome. I think I remember correctly now.
Yeah. So, fair to say, kind of makes sense that it would take this long for it to percolate into Karn's mind. As he starts to realize, oh.
Give me one moment. I am going to, just real quick, would Roar have shared the information from the notes on Till's desk?
Yeah, he has no reason not to.
All right, then incoming info drop for Mish. The passage that would have stuck out to Karn.
Okay.
All right, cool. So pass that information along. And there we go. Okay, were there further questions or notes to go over?
Not for me.
Meow. Okay. If that is the case, then we are going to jump into game. I'm going to search for an appropriate playlist to play. And I think I know the one that I want to use. Jungle playlist. And we are going to use... Auric Wilds from the Guild Wars 2 playlist. So, some time has passed since the Devil Repo Man and Nasus had arrived. Those of you who remained outside of the ziggurat can hear the din of commotion, movement, and industry from even beyond the stonework. There's movement, there's action, there's activity. activity. They're not exactly building, more so than they are unbuilding. You have time to yourselves to consider the information you had learned from the hours before, of deals with devils, of currying favor with one of the clerics of the Nine Hells, Nasus, of finishing your checklist, your pre-flight checklist to the city of Grenpilly within the plain of Maladomini, the great city of law. Those of you within have spent time watching as the devils do their dark work, ? It seems oddly altruistic of them to be removing all of this machinery and metal and unnatural material from what had once been a place of worship, a place of consecration. Vanya and Verdi, you guys stayed behind, I believed, to prestidigitate ash and dust off of stone, revealing the blocks to be made of this not quite porous, but somewhat rough, pale gray stone. It would seem that the Baelnorn and their description of this place once being a pyramid of alabaster rock was not far from the mark. Something had caused it to darken over time. Something had caused it to slowly be claimed by the jungle over time. Whether the two were related is unknown to you. But you are left to your own devices to mingle, to chat things out, to plan, scheme, or otherwise get back to work as it approaches the time for those of you who need to rest, but is not quite yet time. So, I will not be choosing anyone in particular to open up on. I will let you all decide where you would like to go next. Also, you guys may decide which groups are where.
Well, I know Karn had stayed outside while everyone was going through the inside with the reclaimers. So, yeah, eventually that those thoughts of the Koboloi visitor starts percolating through his mind, and he starts kind of pacing a little by the Tear of the Moon, kind of anxious for anyone who speaks Karn, but his Tabaxi friend is inside the temple. And he keeps looking back at the Tear of the Moon kind of speculatively. Kind of obviously trying to get something through his mind and processing. The loading bar is filling up.
Is there anything in particular that you were trying to... You should be looking for, like, insight, looking for inspiration? Like,
well, he's...
Would this be considered meditation?
At this stage, no. This is Karn trying to figure out what he wants to do, and eventually kind of pausing by the tear and recalling that when they brought the tear up, there had been a moment of connection that was very kind of chaotic and loud, but he had gained some insight into the tear that it kind of spoke. And as he starts kind of piecing all these bits and pieces of information together, he's going to stow his weapon and approach the tear again, kind of staring intently at it and raising a hand to gently rest it on the surface of the jewel.
All right. Karn, you rest your hand upon the surface of the jewel. Your passive perception is fairly disgusting. You wait for something to come. You know that you had somehow gotten something from it before. You had felt something, seen something, heard things from within this thing. As you rest your hand upon it, you don't get the impression that there is less of it. You don't get the impression that whatever ghost in the gem is now gone. No. But you do come to a conclusion, or at least more of a mystery than a conclusion. The day before, you had reached to it, and it had reached back. Now there is silence. You know it is capable of more.
Hello?
I think the thing that would stick to Karn is why. As you speak, there is no answer. Roll me a persuasion check.
I think before I do that, he's going to take a deep breath, and he's communed with different parts of nature before. He's never tried to commune with a rock before. But he knows this is more than just a gemstone, and thinking that it might respond if he was more than just a Warforged, he's going to cast Guardian of Nature and invoke the power of the Great Tree.
Okay, you cast your spell. Your armor splits as roots and fresh growth emerges from your ironwood frame. This is a form that is not unfamiliar to you. As you sort of bask in the light of this faintly pulsing radiance, you do feel different. You do feel something ephemeral, something not profound. It's not so strong as a profound change. Something subtle has shifted.
Now he'll
Still-
reach out.
Yeah, you can reach out. You can roll a. It's going to be a persuasion check.
Not something I am particularly good at. Hello.
A 9. You call out. You speak out. Hello in your gravelly baritone. You don't hear anything in response, but you do feel as though that there is a presence nearby before you. As you ponder, your gaze turns toward the tree line beyond, as though drawn, as though directed, as though pulled. You see the night sky is rapidly emerging. The sun is setting and stars are beginning to appear in the sky, but it is a clear night that approaches. As you search, you see the moon is starting to show.
The moon.
The moon. You do not receive a response, but you feel as though your attention had been drawn in that direction, toward the sky for a reason.
As the spell fades, because it only lasts a minute, he's going to pat the tear. This
Like a puppy?
one understands.
You pet the stone, and there's this, as your metallic, woody hand kind of baps the top, the resonance, and
Lightly.
the sound that it makes. Yeah, just a light tap. Acoustically, it carries through the gem and produces a sound that is pleasant, but entirely unnatural. Not quite a hum, not quite a jingle, but a rock should not be making this sound.
That one has a pleasant voice. This one apologizes for waking that one before it is time. This one will ensure that one can rest for a little longer before attempting to speak again.
The stone glows. There's no response.
Yeah, he's gonna give it 5 more minutes.
Okay. So while
Basically
Karn is
letting
trying
it
to
sleep in a little bit more until the moon rises.
talk to a rock, let's see. We're gonna pull away from Karn.
All an open view of anyone else who happens to be out there as well. Like there's nothing subtle about this.
Yeah, no, Roar was with him the whole time. He didn't say anything. He wanted to say something about the moon, but Karn figured it out, so he just stayed quiet.
You guys see as Karn does a thing. Speaking of those outside, I know Roar's outside, Biff, Bones, Jean is outside. I don't know if Alina has made her way outside. Sorry, Leah. I don't think Leah has made her way outside. I think Alina followed after Bones and company.
Yes.
All right, so let's check in with the other party members. So Karn is doing that. Roar is outside. Who else is up to stuff?
Well, Biff is just like always intrigued about the moon's tier. Understands that he can't like take a piece of it as much as he want to, because it's more than a rock. He doesn't know like as much as the others do, but he knows it's special. As much as he wants to meditate on it, he figures the having all of the demons right below him might be, I don't know, just interfere with stuff. So he's just kind of chilling out.
Biff is chilling out. Right on. Biff, you have time to, meditate, relax, think about your situation. I do not believe. Well, since discussing things with Roar, I don't think your opinion would have changed about attempting to mend it.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Verdi and Vanya, how long do you guys stay inside to press the stones?
Oh, I imagine that is a massive job for just the two of them. So Vanya would probably be inclined to head back after they had done a little bit. Like, oh, there is something under this. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
All right, so Vanya and Verdi, when you do finally emerge from inside of the temple, it is darker than you recall, and the air is cooler than you remember. Some time has passed, and evening is rapidly approaching.
Actually, question: who in our parties are like just actual clerics?
None. I mean, unless you count your NPC friends.
And that would be Jean.
Jean is a full cleric. Gallium is a paladin with a few levels of cleric in him.
Okay. And they've traveled more with. Well, I can go back. I don't want to interrupt you having gone to the next person. So do your thing.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Just checking back in with Vanya and Verdi. You guys, you do manage to meet back up with the party. Is there anything that you would like to resolve?
I can't think of anything.
When do you think we will be heading out again?
Verdi kind of shrugs. They're done with our business, so I would think maybe sometime tomorrow.
Vanya kind of nods thoughtfully. It is a good thing that the encounter with the devils went as well as it did. The stories do not always end with mortals in a beneficial position.
Well, they had deals with Till and seemed to be more focused on him than us.
I suppose there is something to be thankful there. That he has at least drawn more of their ear than we did.
Verdi. Yeah, you know what, Vanya, since Vanya had asked you when do you plan to get moving, Verdi. Kind of in the back of your mind, buzzing around, you do recall that between Bones and Roar, there is a book that can be used to communicate with the expedition, with the caravan. It's been some time since you guys have checked in.
Well, if Bones and everyone's outside, I think Verdi will bring that up, saying that maybe we should contact them because they were supposed to catch up at some point.
I think that's a good place to springboard into what Bones is up to.
I think Bones is actually is looking for Karn.
Oh, Bones can find Karn on the top of the pyramid. And we can double back to Verdi bringing that to Bones' attention. Yeah, we can rewind a little bit.
After Karn tries to commune with the stone and then seems to only be waiting a couple minutes. Karn, do you actually have a moment that I could borrow you for a small project?
Yes. This one would be happy to help the Bones.
So, before I left, fuck, I've forgotten the name of the city.
Yanzer?
Amavasia.
Ah?
I took a seed from a very particular tree.
His highlights like glow a little brighter when she mentions that.
I'd like to plant it at my place in the Feywild, but I'm not known for having a green thumb, and this is a very sentimental.
Special.
Yes, special.
Mm.
And I was hoping you could possibly help me plant it.
This one would be happy to. This one knows how to encourage growth in difficult places. But this one may need an evening to... And he pauses and looks almost kind of embarrassed. Remember how to do it.
I mean, there's not a particular rush, and I imagine that the Feywild might be strange to try and plant a tree in. React interestingly, at least.
This one would certainly be willing to try.
I'd appreciate it.
The Bones and the Roar has gone through some of the Tilrigger's books, yes?
Yes. Roar more than I.
Perhaps the Roar might know. This one is wondering if there was any additional information that the Till might have noted about the... This one believes the visitors were Koboloi. This one still wishes to find the Ciela, but this one is not entirely sure where to look next.
Roar might have more insight onto that one.
This one will speak with the roar.
I'll give him a nod. And I will hand over. I don't know what wisteria seeds look like.
Wisteria?
It is.
The DM has no description for you.
They look basically like buttons, but brown. Or like tiddlywinks.
Wisteria. Yeah, they're a round, brown, flat disc of a seed.
Yeah,
They're very simple. They're very humble.
Just for its meaning and the prettiness.
Holy shit, they're pretty as fuck. Okay, cool. I'll allow it. This is happening.
It's from Bones' mother's tree.
Oh, yes.
Wisteria seeds.
Yeah, anyway, that's what Bones hands over. Just a round, flat little seed.
All right, Karn, you can add a wisteria seed to your inventory by any means you deem appropriate.
Yes.
Gonna say,
So-
if you want to retroactively change a little bit, they do come in like bean pods.
Bean pods.
If you want.
I like the little button looking things.
Button.
Beanie buttons. I'm doing some inventory management now, so. Okay,
Okay.
Wisteria seeds from Bones.
So you get the wisteria seeds from Bones. Excellent. I think that would be around the time that Verdi would catch up, seeing Bones is. Well, I don't want to say hard to miss because Bones is stealthy, but hearing conversation and hearing,
She's not trying to be stealthy at the moment. So.
Yeah, there you go. So, Verdi, you catch up with Bones on the top of the pyramid. Roar's nearby. Karn is nearby.
Has anyone reached out to the others?
If it's not,
No, I haven't.
No, but Roar has the pen.
I thought Bones had it.
Okay, well, Bones can have it. No, but I have the pen. I can reach out.
Might be a good idea. It's been a few days.
And between the fields of the undead and the ziggurat, we have been through quite a bit.
All right, I'll grab the pen.
Okay. So you begin penning, and you quickly find that Norixis is available for correspondence and does seem relieved to receive word back. Bones, I am pleased to hear you are in good health. We have made progress in our path southward, and now we find ourselves rapidly approaching Camp Vengeance. Upon hearing what we had received from Camp Righteous about the disappearances, myself and others are wary of getting too close. We intend to ford the river once more. Shall we await your arrival and assistance, or carry on and meet you along the other bank?
Please wait. We will make quick progress there.
Affirmative. It would seem that your path crosses along Camp Righteous. Shall we prepare for you to touch base with them along the way?
Yes.
Very good. We are well in health. The undead have been few and far between. A number of small scuffles with wildlife has left the entirety of the caravan more or less unscathed. We are well fed thanks to your hunting and gathering previously. No complaints.
Good to hear.
Of note, our associates within the Brass Bone clan. Do be mindful. It would seem that in their haste to curry favor, they have begun acting as scouts, for better or for worse. I apologize.
Bones just goes, noted. Right, so they'd like us to rendezvous with them so they can investigate Camp Vengeance. And I'd like to meet with them before they go there. I had check in on Camp Righteous on the way. And they warned us that the kobolds are very enthusiastic scouts.
That is good, yes.
I mean, it is good. It's just that we might run into them.
It was just God. I keep getting the two confused, even though you just said it. Which camp was the one with the disappearances?
Camp Vengeance. The entirety of Camp Vengeance has gone missing. They are a dwarven company, the Vengeful Pickaxe Mining Company. They would often deal in trade with Camp Righteous. Trade has stopped, and those who have investigated have reported bad vibes, fear, and no one being home.
Yeah.
Except.
Well, we believe that, Roar believes that the belt he currently wears, which is the belt of Dwarven Kind, was off of one of the dwarves from Camp Righteous. Plus, there was a talk of dwarves falling back into the mountains, where one of the gloves of Morden allegedly are. So he was hoping to go there, but that's all hearsay right now.
Lots of speculation, lots of mystery.
And Roar and Karn did see that old woman in the camp, right?
You did. A bird's eye view. You saw that just never eat soggy waffles of the camp. There was a hill with a small cabin. Upon the stoop which sat a withered old woman of Tikalan descent, it would seem.
I'm not saying it's a hag, but it's a hag.
So the question remains, or rather the question becomes, some of you plan to stick around. You have quote-unquote marching orders, but you also have a means to get around very quickly. Do you rest, or do you get into the fun bus?
We haven't rested in a while, have we?
Yeah, we rested. Like,
Rest of the last game.
Yeah, you rested last game. I'm the only one who didn't rest.
Oh, ignore me then.
Roar's the only one who hasn't rested, correct?
All right, then we can just go then.
After moonrise.
For Moonrise.
This one would like to speak with the Tier, and the Tier sleeps during the day.
Indeed. Well, it would give Biff some time to approach another matter in the meantime. No problem.
This one appreciates it.
Roar will call out to Biff. I didn't mean to make it seem like I wouldn't try fixing your amulet. I would like to, but it will need to happen. If you want my help, it'll have to wait until we're back in New Haven, where I have a dedicated workspace that we can most adequately work with and have additional assistance to make sure that we're doing it as good as we can.
Biff waves his hands. No, Flint, all is well. Biff is not offended. Did not think you were not willing to help. Is very grave matter. Do not wish the last bastion of protection to break. Biff will absolutely keep you in mind. Perhaps another idea in mind to pursue before.
I simply nod.
And Biff's gonna go seek out Jean.
Oh, sure. So things continue, discussions are had. You guys are planning to. Are we planning to rest or move? Just so I have a time frame.
move, but after Karn gets his meeting.
Indeed.
Okay, move after Connor. Cool. Google. I said move. I did not say any of those words. Google. Right on. So, yeah, I'll say that Biff has a chance to chat it up with Jean. You find Jean Delacroix. She is. You haven't interacted with her much, but you do know that she is someone who Alina looks up to, someone who has been a cleric for Yanzu for quite some time. A woman who is approaching middle age, frazzled, frizzy, blonde hair, kind of like crow's feet, just kind of starting to appear on the sides of her face. And she's a big woman. She's handsomely shaped of face and stout of form. Not Gildain, but physically she could be.
Is she like just Pam?
She's kind of like Pam a little bit.
Okay. Biff approaches her with the lifted hand and greeting. Hail, Jean.
She lifts a gauntleted hand to you and kind of sits up, putting her back to the columned frame that encircles the moon's tier on the top of the pyramid.
Oh.
Well met. I don't think we have spoken much. You are the demon puncher?
Biff believe it is Ghost Puncher. But yes, has also punched plenty of demons, surely.
Alina has spoken highly of you. Well met. And she'll reach out with a armor-clad hand.
And he will shake her hand. Music switch. Biff has issue. Biff is cursed. Biff has in Biff possession a cursed weapon. And the presence inside is waking up. Is probably awake now, fully awake. Biff has received protection that is failing. has spoken to Roar there about reinforcing protection, but because protection came from God, Ankh, is possible that it would fail. The reinforcement would fail. Um, Biff has spoken to another person about this, and the way to remove curse involves 7 dwarves and dragon's blood.
So, like, midway through your explanation, Alina, are you within eyeline?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, so you see, you see for a moment this transition. I'm not going to make you roll for it in Jean. That is this, surprise to suddenly not very surprised, a pointed glance at you, and just passive insight as if to ask, are you all like this? As Biff delivers a very Alina-esque, matter-of-fact response, hey, I'm cursing, the god said hi. So,
Alina
this is her life now. This is her life. You laugh. She sighs. You see her physically get older in front of you. And she turns her attention to Biff, kind of puts her hands together. Right, that is a lot to unpack. First of all, you are cursed. That is very unfortunate. It is surprising that your Arcanist friend cannot remedy this. Surprising still that you claim to have received a gift from a god. With the proliferation of devils and demons, how certain are you that a god has come to you?
Oh. Biff is not so well versed in the gods as some other are, but this one is by the name of Ankh, a snail god, a trickster god. That much Biff knows.
You do understand that trickster is in the name.
Biff understands.
Okay, so long as there's a baseline between us. I do respect the locals and their superstitions, their primal spirits, their worship of these old things. As I understand them, these gods, and she doesn't actually air quote, but she kind of lowers her head and looks above her eyeline to you, as if to imply that she's air quoting, but not quite air quoting. These gods have fallen. The item in question, the blessing, may I see this?
Indeed, and Biff will produce the shard of glass.
All right, she's just going to quickly detect evil and good. Says a quick prayer to Selune, quite under her breath, but quietly and quickly reveal the path of the moonlight and dispel darkness before me. And she looks at it, and there's this flicker of pale, cloudiness across her eyes. She eases back. Very interesting. There is a mark of divinity upon this broken thing of yours.
And Biff is smiling see, I told you.
See, I told you. She's not exactly eating crow, but she does look to be taking this a lot more seriously upon identifying that indeed this is something that she does not understand, and, it's not her place to understand it. So she resolves and nods to you. The ability to remove a curse from a person is, yes, it is something that I can certainly attempt. I would warn you that there is hope for you, but there is also, I want to temper your expectations. Certain curses are harder to break than others. Loup Garou, for instance, is a terrible curse of lycanthropy, which is very complicated and painfully difficult to remediate. It can be done through the attempt to cure this. If it is beyond my power, we will at least understand the means and methods by which it can be done. However, I cannot provide this service for you tonight. By morning, I can say prayers and petition the Lady of Silver. I will have the spell prepared for you by morning. But I can provide it no sooner.
That you offer such a thing is amazing. Honestly, Biff was only going to ask if you knew 7 dwarves and a dragon that needed slaying.
7 dwarves. I mean, there's the Stonebender clan.
7 holy dwarves.
Okay, that changes things a bit. There are a handful of practicing not 7. We do not have 7 of them. She rubs her knuckles beneath her lip and actually glances toward Alina.
I mean,
And when
that
she-
may have been a dwarf in a past life.
No, your mother had been studying and attempting to break bread with the mountain dwarves, the pale dwarves of the Mistcliffs.
Yes, Fleming looked over her notes.
From what we understand, though hands off and not exactly willing to meet with us in Yanzuru, they are a spiritual folk. It is entirely possible that among them there are those who practice certain holy arts, or, if nothing else, commune with nature like the locals do. It may be a shot in the dark, but those who have not settled in Yanzuru, those who live off the lands, those who reach out and speak to those like Ankh and similar, clearly divine, yet lesser known entities. She kind of rolls her shoulders. If it is beyond my power, then perhaps with the aid of luck and those willing to help, there may be a chance.
Stick with me, Demon Puncher. Once we find my mother, she will have more information for us.
Indeed. Biff, thank you both for this great information.
And she smiles. We will fix you yet. The weapon in mind, you said it was awake.
The presence within, yes. 'Twas dormant until Biff used the weapon. And that is when all of this cursed goodness happened.
She nods a bit, and she casts a glance to Gallium, who is likewise on like the other side of the tier of the moon, kind of huddled in his own quarter. Yes, Ro's cleric friend, paladin friend, had been mentioning something about something interesting about weapons. Spirits bound to weapons, weapons, artifacts, items created long ago or by powerful arcanists. And he goes and braces against the wall to stand.
This
So
would be
magics-
in his wheelhouse.
Some magics are difficult to break, even by extreme methods. If you have seen with the lich's bubble with his soul in it, the phylactery, sometimes very specific steps must be made to unmake them. With the weapon Biff has, could be that destroying it might be a good answer to a problem,
Biff
But-
winces at that.
but doing so may be extremely difficult. Just like putting back to sleep may be extremely difficult. Esoteric steps, lots of different special rules must be followed. Unfortunately, magic is kind of tangled mess sometimes.
So Biff was told by previous owner of weapon that 7 holy dwarves and dragon's blood is what was needed to settle the whole issue. Biff is now wondering if Biff can become uncursed without um, settling the dragon issue. Biff wonders if it's worth trying that.
It's possible to make it not your problem, but then hammer is problem all its own.
Indeed.
Fix you, but cancer still fester.
Okay, well, Biff knows not to use the hammer without outside of dire situations. So the issue is not growing exponentially out of hand, but will continue to be issue until this is taken care of.
And Jean takes a step toward you and, hands kind of still folded, nods and looks up at you because you were still a bit taller than even her large form. We will do what we can to fix you so that fixing that becomes an easier matter.
Biff nods his thanks. If you need Biff to do anything, to wrestle aforementioned dragon, again, you just tell Biff where unruly dragon is. Biff does not know if it has to be wyvern or dragon, or Biff needs to get back and make sure of that.
So, to remind, I'm not sure which party members know and which do not, but upon breaking bread with the Brass Bone Clan, you are aware that there is indeed a red dragon in the Mist Cliffs.
Yep. The other kobold clan that they were kind of fighting with started worshiping it and got on its good side, and it was what forced the brass kobolds out of their land.
So, as the cleric and the paladin kind of give you a pep talk, and plans are made to help you in the AM after spells are prepared, the night grows a little longer, stretches a little further. I know Karn wanted to make another attempt to poke at the crystal. I know Alina had several. No, Alina plans to stick around for a while.
A day or
Isn't
a
it-
couple of days.
Excellent. Does anyone else have plans for the evening?
Mbanje is just chilling around, so nothing for him.
I'm just chilling, chatting with bugs.
I think Vanya's going to put some time into learning a new spell.
Excellent. If you have spells to copy, enough time has passed. Let's see, you guys got out of the temple at like 7. It's almost 9. So low-level spells, you can... you have downtime. You have downtime.
Yeah, I'm going to figure that out because there's also a material cost involved.
Indeed.
And I know Vanya did grab that Aether Stone from the lamp down in the ziggurat.
If you want, that Aether Stone can contribute 100 gold pieces as a material component for copying spells. You're essentially drawing magic out of it and destroying it in the process.
Very likely that I will be doing that eventually.
Sure thing. All right. So that's what Vanya's doing. Verdi gets their answer for what's going on with the commission. Biff chats with the clerics. And Banji talks to Bugs. All right. So, 8 to 9 to 10. I know Karn was going to take a few minutes before making a second attempt at chatting with the stone. So around the start of 9, the moon is fully out. The sky is still purple, but it's not quite a full moon. It's starting to go into its waning phase.
Okay, but the moon is at least out and shining, yeah?
Moon is out, the sky is clear, the stars are twinkling.
Okay, then Karn is going to rally himself for another attempt. Is the Rua available?
You get the pang of almost not irritation, but like if sarcasm could be felt, you feel it in your mind. Rua's, though formless, in the back of your mind.
I'm always around. I don't sleep anymore.
This one does not know what the Rua does to pass the time.
I watch and wait, and I look at Biff's butt mostly. Do not tell him that.
Karn is already looking towards Biff and trying to figure out what's so attractive about his butt.
Listen, I don't have an inner monologue anymore, so you best keep that the fuck to yourself, alright?
Oh. Oh. And he shrugs a little and looks back towards the tier.
Alright, cool, good chat.
This one was wondering if the Rua could manifest and assist this one in speaking with the tier.
You want to talk to the big magic rock, okay? Sure. Yeah, I'm not going through like an existential crisis about, my people's history and worship and the gods and whatever the fuck it is. Sure, fine.
This one is glad the Rua is available.
Glad to help, buddy.
Rua reaches out of your shadow, looking somewhat timid as she kind of holds herself, arms kind of crossed, as if Cold looks the party over, sees who's nearby, and just kind of lingers by your shoulder.
I offer her my hand politely.
She, in her incorporealness, kind of twists and curls around your hand.
And I'm going to invoke Guardian of Nature again as I look back to the tier.
Alright, you cast your spell and again transform. Rua does not appear surprised, but she is jostled as your form kind of changes and shifts about.
This one apologizes for waking the tier before the tier was ready to be awoken. Now this one comes to speak in the moonlight with one of the tier's many lost children. This one is hoping the tier may be able to help this one find another lost child. Will the tier speak with this one?
Do you reach out and touch it?
Yes. I'll be touching it while I'm speaking.
Ah, gotcha. So once more you reach out, this time with what you presume to be a VIP. Someone with an in, someone with an out. Please roll a persuasion check. You are being helped, so take advantage.
Car needs all the help he can get.
7.
That, oh, it did roll twice. I didn't even mean to.
Okay. You reach out and you search for something. You speak the words and invoke something primal, something primordial, something that you feel to be is of symbolic importance, having this person with you to help you. And again, you feel something there. You feel a connection or an understanding. Or it's as though there is an attempt being made. And there's something in the way. Again, you find your eyes drifting and turning to the tree line, to the night sky, to the stars.
While in this form, before it goes out, I'm going to take a deep breath and reach deeper into the green to try and help me connect with this. I sense it's a spiritual entity bound within this mineral form, and I'm going to cast Commune with Nature.
Please. Oh, it's already in chat. Cool. Another spell. Okay.
Yeah,
Briefly
which I couldn't see
briefly
before because
become
I'm still
one.
trying to struggle with these colored
Okay.
spells.
Okay. You sense the presence of a powerful celestial before you. You feel fiends beneath your feet. You feel building. There is building present. The terrain is dirt and mud and life and death. The jungle is growing. It is consuming. And something is blooming deep beneath. A network forming. Ribbons almost like the neurons of a mind connecting outward, reaching a web. And as those around you watch as you are in this form, they watch as your eyelights go out. You feel your body become numb. It's been a long time since you have not felt your extremities. In times of dire circumstance and danger, of problems, of peril, of frankly absolute terror, you have found yourself here before. Present, but disconnected from your extremities. In this darkness, you cannot sense your companions outward, or even the one that has been residing inside of your shadow. You are alone. For some time, there is silence. One moment. You begin searching, sensing, trying to reach out to find something, to find meaning in the black.
This did not go exactly as this one anticipated.
You, in your mind's eye, see visions forming around you, before you. You see a scene begin to unfold. Foggy and hazy and indistinct, you see the stone upon the top of the pyramid. And you see a creature, pale gray of skin, short in stature, with wild, flowing hair much like Rua. Her face is different, but you recognize that this creature is among her tribe. You see, and you know, this to be Tempete, the daughter of Ciela. Tempete reaches out, and there's something in her face, not anguish, but anger, a demand being made. And as she reaches out, she kind of strikes the stone for answers. And then you see what you saw before. The same thing the stone showed you when you touched it the night before. The earth cracking open. Something deep within reaching up to steal away space, to steal away earth, to steal away life. You see the sky yawn open as great, impossibly large things break through from some other plane. You see the end of the world. You see a change in Tempete's face, terror, shock, and then a bland nothingness. And anger knits her brow as her face contorts, twists into a growling sneer. Shadowy figures beside her turn and try to reach out, to console, to make sense. There's an argument. There is some kind of resolution. A choice is made. The image fades and you see flickering visions. You see a grove of thickly clustered black barked trees with tall, lacy branches. From these enormous, thin trees, the shadows that are cast beneath it are long and unnaturally dark. The image fades. Again, darkness. Another image resolves in dim light. You see the armor, the blue, strange steel of the lich you had fought, of Tilregger, placing a mask of pale wood on top of the skeletal face. As his image fades, you hear a voice. Seek out the circles. Seek out the trees. Your eyelights burst back into light, glowing like flames, as you are again conscious. For everyone around you, straight up a minute went by where Karn was slack. Rua kind of bumps you on your shoulder a couple times.
You alive? You alive? Okay.
A circle of trees. This one doesn't suppose the Tyr knows where this one should look towards for this. No, okay. There is a circle of trees this one needs to seek out. This one is not the only one who has seen the vision from the Tyr of the end of the world. The Ciela's daughter, Tempete, has seen and has grown angry.
Jean watches you from a distance, arms folded, just kind of quizzically observing. Gallium likewise. Both of them seem to understand that something has transpired here. But neither of them say anything.
This one is also pretty sure this Tyr is celestial in origin.
That gets Jean's attention. She looks to you and looks to it and looks back to you. And inclines her head. I had assumed it to be an artifact of some kind for one of the nature spirits or some other worshipper, of which pantheon would produce such a thing. I know not.
That is probably because the Tyr is not from here.
She furrows her brow and seems to not struggle with the information, but is digesting it. Truly, a week of revelations for the beleaguered cleric.
This one needs to record this one's memory.
right. So, as Karn records his information into the spell shard, I believe it was said that the party would begin to gather up their things after he made his attempt to do what he set out to do.
That is correct.
All right. So, the night has not grown super long. You guys still have time to make strides toward reuniting with the caravan. Were you to take your boat? Let me count the number of squares. I think you should be able to get there by morning, if I'm not mistaken. If you were to continuously drive.
I think that can
Sail?
be managed. Sam had to step away to get chocolate milk. But
Chalky milk?
round 2. I believe that the plan is to take the boat. He is nodding. Yes.
Yeah, you guys can definitely get there, not quite by morning, but like early afternoon. For sure, you guys can get there.
That sounds great.
Yep.
All right. So, the party, you guys gather up your things. Karn, you record your one moment. All right, cool. Had to record some information. Yeah, you guys gather your stuff and proceed to get into your portable boat. Roar, you are certain that with Till removed, with the tree's wards no longer functioning, that you will have no trouble with the ship's function. I'm assuming Sam has stepped away also. So that information is for Heather to pass along to Sam. Basically, no problems with the boat. You guys are good.
Okay, no problems with the boat and we're good?
Good to go. So, you guys gather. As the party gathers into the ship, Jean is going to stay behind, knowing that Alina plans to stick around. And she's going to come to Alina. Right. So, as I understand it, your artifact, blessing boon? And she kind of gestures to your face. Is the mask on, or you keep it off?
She keeps it on at all times. It's not on her face currently. It's kind of pushed up like a pair of cool sunglasses.
Hell yeah. So she gestures to your sunglasses. As I understand it, you can get around very quickly. It seems strange to ask if you have need of me, but I know that I cannot keep pace with you.
I will be alright. I'm just going to stick around for a few days and keep an eye on my Mikonid friends.
She nods her head. She's going to place both of her hands on your shoulders. You have grown so much since you have begun this path. To say that I hardly recognize you is a happy thing for me to say.
Could not have done this without you, Jean.
She kind of just shakes her head and smiles and laughs. I'm not so certain of that, but I will accept and take pride in this.
Who first put a sword in my hand? Come now.
She waves a hand somewhat dismissively, and you can sense that there's something more about the entirety of the situation that has her humbled. With both hands on your shoulders. May the Lady of Silver guide you. May your path remain ever illuminated by the moon's light and the Lady's love. I'm going to get on a magical boat now. and I would presume ride off into the moon set, and then see what I can do about your friend, the demon puncher who has a shard of glass from a god that's dead. Great. I cannot wait to reunite with you when you, I don't know, burst through the ceiling of whatever church we set up.
Of course, I have to make the most dramatic entrance.
Because why not?
Because why not?
And she laughs and she pats you down once more. And she looks to the moon's tear. Do I would say be careful, but I don't know what to expect. I wish you luck. And be careful if you inhale deeply in that nest of fungus. Very nasty things can happen if fungus takes root in the lungs.
I will be very careful.
Salin will be very cross if you come back with black lung.
I think she will harvest my lungs for perhaps medicinal purposes. I give permission for that.
I love that for you. I love that for you. Power couple. She lifts her hands off of you, seemingly squicked by that part of the conversation, and nods and turns. Don't keep us waiting very long. If we're building a church, we'll need protection.
Of course. Especially considering I'm very concerned about the denizens of this town.
She nods. She'll make her way down the steps to reunite with those at the boat. You were left to your own devices at the top of the ziggurat. The night continues to stretch on. As the party packs up their things and loads into the now expanded portable boat, Roars, you take the helm and, I would presume, proceed to basically hightail it, making it back to the River Soshin Star. I'm going to stick with Alina for just a little bit. Alina, the moon is high in the sky and the stars are shining. What is next for the Paladin?
Once everyone's kind of seen off and it's a little bit quieter, I think she's gonna probably be almost out of character, a quiet contemplation and study.
Quiet contemplation and study.
I know it seems out of character for her, but it like when she's like, I don't have to be like Alina anymore. She's gonna kind of be chill and cleaning the ziggurat. She doesn't have prestidigitation, but she has muscles and buckets full of water. Keeping an eye on the demon situation to make sure that that's doesn't get worse.
So, about that demon situation. Well, first of all, there are no demons present, they're devils. Second,
fiends are fiends as far as
fiends are fiends. As you make your way back inside, shortly after the others leave, the temple is empty. Cold, dark stone meets you every corner that you turn, every hallway that you walk. It is a solemn and quiet experience, save for the sound of your breath and the shuffling of your armor, which echoes through the halls. There is no sign of life, not even the stray spiderweb. You begin to clean. It is a considerably louder endeavor than walking the halls.
I also feel like Alina's like the type that finds cleaning like very meditative.
Yeah, you find yourself in a steady rhythm, and it's as time begins to pass more and more, the sensation of this is a strange place that I'm cleaning. This is a work area. This is a workshop. This is a stone building begins to shift. An hour into it, hour and a half into it, as you approach midnight, there's this. You know how, like, when a party finishes and you're the last one left cleaning up? Just the emptiness of things, but the sensation that it should be full, that this is a place of gathering, this is a place of meeting, that this is a place of festivity. And you are alone, quietly tending to it, being the custodian of those feelings, that belonging. That's what starts to settle in. A sensation that you're not unfamiliar with as these stone walls begin to feel more and more like a temple, like a church, and less like a squatting ground for devils.
Yeah. I don't think Alina has any special plans other than just kind of cleaning things up and, you know, making it. I mean, can one? She doesn't. I don't even think she knows if she can consecrate a place. But she can sure as shit make it not look like it was taken over by devils and liches.
Roll me just a quick religion check. I'll give you advantage on this one.
That roll is taking its sweet time, so I'm just going to break out dice. That's a natural 20 on my first roll.
It's on the pull. So, you just have this feeling in your bones. Something has changed. And as you kind of look within and you feel it out and you try to, sense this whole weird situation in your solitude and your meditation and your contemplation as you are physically meditating, you're working, you're being active about this. In your bones, you feel just this gut instinct of what if consecration, desecration isn't a switch that you flip, but is more a matter of one aspect overwhelming the other. If there was something here before, can it be here again? With everything gone, would the true nature reassert itself? And you have an ability to actually determine that.
I do. Give me a moment. Theoretically. All my shit's all grayed out, so I can't tell if that's because I don't have spells. That doesn't make any sense.
Can I poke at your sheet?
Yeah, sure.
Well, under your spell book, there's stuff that is grayed out, and those are the things that aren't prepared. But under your features, it is Divine Sense.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
There we go. That tracked correctly. So, using one of your divine senses, you open up your senses, and it's almost like there is singing in the halls. A faint resonance. It's not a hum. It's deeper than hearing. The area is consecrated, hallowed even.
That feels right. And I think Alina will kind of be just cleaning, making things better, and then maybe a little bit of keeping an eye out for the sort of things that this place being consecrated again would draw.
Okay.
Like that fucking vulture that all of her friends were talking about. The goddamn imp.
Absolutely. As your divine sense begins to fade away, you do feel that there is a pull, something strong above you.
Okay, I'll go investigate.
Okay. You make your way upwards. I'm assuming Alina did not make it too deep inside of the temple.
No, not. She's not like in the bowels.
All right. So you make your way back to the outside of the pyramid, and you look upward. You see that the sky has turned black. That the purple haze of sunset is long since gone, and the stars are as bright and as close as they have ever seen before. The moon is not full, but it is bright, and you see light radiating from the top of the pyramid. A bright glow.
Is it the tear?
It's here, yes. It is resonating. It is glowing. Whites and blues, ripples of light just kind of casting along the stonework.
Okay, I'm gonna go talk to it.
You approach. As you approach the stone, well, you said you're going to talk to it. What do you say?
Hopefully this gets things back to normal for you a little bit.
Please roll me a D100. Or 2D10. Whichever works for you.
5?
5. That's going to be a 5.
That's
So,
real low.
that's real low. That's quite low, in fact. So as you stand there in the presence of this stone, and you mention out loud, you hope things turn out, become normal again. Nothing so profound as vision takes you. There's no sweeping vistas, no darkness that takes your eyes, and no ocean of blood to wade through, or strands of fate to pull on. Instead, you hear a voice in Celestial gently ring out in your ears. Child of celestial blood. Once more, my voice is restored. For so long I have been trapped within myself, reliving visions both real and imagined. There are not enough years to offer my gratitude.
I mean, you said thank you. That's gratitude enough for me.
Child of celestial blood, we are humored to hear such humility. Know that our kind is unbidden by the lines which separate. In order to better serve the divine, your ears and eyes are keener to perceive the omens and missives from beyond the veil. Know that your voice is louder and clearer when you call to the realms beyond for aid. Even those beyond time and causality listen for your voice and offer their own subtle ways.
Have you been able to tell what is going on around you?
In some ways, yes. In the ways that matter, no. My vision has been clouded, my ears have been muffled. Trapped within myself, I know I had been moved. I know I had been abused. But clarity is returning. What is real and what isn't is starting to make sense. As I recover from my years of confusion, what is real and what is unreal has become difficult to sort. I feel that era is now behind me. I should like to provide what wisdom I may as I recover. I would like to listen when you call.
Oh, also, I hope you don't mind. There's a small Myconid colony downstairs.
An abundance of life, yes. The light, interestingly, should unmake them. And yet, by some strangeness or kindness, perhaps borrowed, they thrive. This may be your doing.
Me and some friends.
What strangeness. What wonder. The stars are bright. The sky is clear. I should like to gaze and to ponder of what comes next.
I'll leave you to it.
Will you return?
Of course. I'll be here
There is
for a
much-
few days more, and then I'll come back and visit regularly.
There is much to speak of. I sense in you a kindred spirit. You are not the first or the last who has found themselves in a time of transition from one power to another.
excited to speak with you more.
I as well. Rest well.
You too.
The light seems to ebb and slowly fade as you are left with silence. Air's cooler than you would expect of the jungle night, and the stars seem close enough to touch.
Yeah, just relax and enjoy the evening.
All right, you chill in the presence of the tear of the moon. As your night grows longer and longer, you plan to eventually reunite with the party. Speaking of the rest of the party, there we go. Time passes. The hours grow long. You take shifts resting upon the portable boat. Roar, you find no real issues as you navigate and head westward. Following familiar paths as you kind of sort of, I don't want to say careen, but, you know, if you're not going to use the whole odometer, then what the fuck are you doing? I believe it was mentioned that you guys may check in on, let's see. Check out on Camp Righteous sometime in the morning.
I do not have any tokens with visions in this scene. Oh no.
There we go.
Yay!
It takes you several hours, the better part of the evening. Now, let me ask the party. I had mentioned sleeping in shifts was a thing that could very well happen. However, that would be removing agency from the players. Who does take their rest on the ship?
There's no reason for Biff to not do so.
Karn will rest.
Roar stupidly stays up the entire time to captain the boat the whole way there.
Captain the boat the whole way there, because Warforged don't really need to rest.
Question as well.
Actually, is John on the John is on the ship.
John on the ship, yeah. Everyone but
Alina?
Alina.
Okay.
For half a second, I thought you left me behind.
Leah sticks behind. Why not? Leah's cool like that.
Question. Between the time spent after the Devils have raided everything and flying out to get to Camp Righteous, would you say that Vanya has had about oh wow, that might be how. Sorry, I'm doing some calculations. Oh no, that's right. Would she have about sorry, I'm stammering as I'm trying to figure out which one of these spells I want to focus my time on. About 5 hours to work on her copying.
What's the level of the spell?
This is, well, let's see here. Yes, I can
Just
do
double
that.
checking the rules. So for spell copying, You have
Yes.
to have.
It is
You have to
2
have-
hours per spell level, 50 gold
spell
per spell level.
50
For a
gold,
5th
so-
level spell, it would be 10 hours and 250 gold. However, this is a necromancy spell.
How many levels of wizard do you have?
I have 4. Do I have access to 5th level spells?
I'm not sure if you have access to 5th level spells as a level 4 wizard.
I know I've got access to the spell slots because of...
Let me double check the rules on that real quick.
Yeah.
But it would be 5 hours. I would say you have 5 hours, yes. But I just have to double check the rules on that real quick.
Yes, let me know if it's possible. Because I know as a hybrid spellcaster, she has access to the spell slots, but things get weird when because of multi-classing.
So the writing is, it is of a spell level that you can prepare. Those sorcerers are not prepared spellcasters. I'll say that. Yeah, it's kosher. Sure. Yeah, you'll have 5 hours to do that. You can do it.
Okay. And it also has the spell cost.
So that should be 100 gold pieces.
Yeah, so for 5 hours, 125 gold, 100 of which comes from the thingy. I'd like to learn the Enervation spell.
Alrighty. I'll have to double check the spell casting requirements for wizards and whether or not you can cast a higher level wizard spell if it's not a sorcerer spell, but we'll do that between game.
Yeah, we can dig into it later, and if it turns out that this isn't a viable pick, I do have a backup.
Yeah, sure. So for now, you can add Enervation to your spell list.
Sweet.
Are there any other evening practices? All right, with that said, or not said, rather, Roar, you are helming the ship. With your passive perception of 16, I'm going to say that as you approach, you catch the scent of smoke before you see it. It smells like something's being burned, something's being torched, something foul, something sulfuric, something phosphoric, something flesh. You suss out the scent of burning flesh. Roll me just a history or arcana or even medicine check, I think would be most appropriate as you approach the location of Camp Righteous. An 11 medicine. I'm going to say 10's the DC for this. You know the scent of burning bodies when you smell it. You've been around enough of it.
Do I assume it's just undead getting cleaned up?
You can make that assumption, absolutely. That would serve to reason.
Yeah, I'll hold that thought, but holding that thought, I'll still move with purpose and direction to see what the fuck's up.
Sure thing. So 5 a.m. rolls around. You have been just burning a trail through the jungle. The scent gets stronger and stronger still as you realize that you are approaching a fresh burn or an active burn happening. Some of your companions are beginning to awaken. Let's see. From midnight to... Oh, you guys left before midnight. You left at around 9, so... I think it would be reasonable to presume that you guys have all gotten a long rest during this. Roar. From about a hour's distance, you can make out a strand of black smoke rising above the tree line. It appears to be contained looking like maybe from a distance, maybe the smoke from a pyre with lots of, unpleasant things being burnt in it. So with that information in mind, Roar, you're just going to hold on to it, or is there anything you would like to do to act upon this information beforehand?
For anyone who happens to have already woken up, especially any parts of God Squads that happen to have come along, I'll draw their attention to it.
All right. You find that Salin is asleep, but Gallium has done his sentry's rest and he is up. Probably around the time that you were asking around, you make eye contact with him. You see that he's up. He has not seemed to notice what you've seen, but you do see he's kind of like sniffing the air, looking around, not quite sure. He's looking for something, but hasn't spotted it yet.
Yeah, I'll wave him over, and then while still manning the wheel with my free hand, I will point in the direction of the wisp of smoke coming up.
All right, so he, with your aid, is going to be able to see that. That's going to bring his passive up high enough to see it. Yeah. Is Gallium understanding that the dead are often burned on this island? Place that we are going to visit, are they known for routing and burning many things at once? That smoke, very dark, lots of meaty bits, probably. Should we be prepared for fight or funeral?
Yes. We had helped them before. Had gotten word back to Neurixius about them because they had lost contact. This is also where I got this boat. Well, when it was just a water boat. And also where Bones got her, what's the word? Collar? No. Gorget. And Roar points to his throat as an implication.
He seems to think for a few moments and then does some quick mental math. Right, Gorget, one that Hag had eaten. Okay, got it. Okay, smart people work here, then maybe is not bad sign. I wake others.
We're about 30 minutes out. In 15 minutes, if people aren't moving, yes, wake them.
No, okay. So, he will be on standby, and he will prepare to wake up those who aren't awake. Let's see. Early risers, where you at? Who would also be awake during this time?
Verdi would be up relatively early.
Verdi's up relatively early. Early riser.
Karn is always half awake.
I would think Karn would be awake. I would think Vanya would probably be like sleeping in after doing all the spell prep.
Oh yeah.
Leah, you're an elf. You barely sleep as it is. Bones has been sleeping in a lot lately. I don't know what Bones would be doing.
It's probably sleeping in still.
Sleeping in. All right, cool.
Cat gonna cat.
Bones is a cat. Cat's gonna cat.
When she
That checks
can,
out.
she sleeps in, and then she doesn't sleep for 15 hours, and then she sleeps in. And then she doesn't sleep. She's got a weird sleep ass. Her sleep schedule is chaotic.
I love that for you. Let's see. So, yeah, I'm gonna say that that Karn and Leah and Verdi are up for sure. Bones is probably sleeping in. Cool. Cool beans. And I think Biff is an early riser as well, so that checks out. All right, so between passive perceptions, I think Karn and Verdi, you guys are the ones who would notice for sure the telltale marks of rangers. Not them in person, but markings on trees denoting their presence. Entering not, not a settled area, but definitely hunting grounds, patrolling grounds. You're seeing evidence of that presence, and fresh evidence at that. Basically, rangers letting each other know that they're in the area. Karn or Verdi, either of you can roll me a perception or survival at disadvantage because you are moving.
Could I assist Verdi?
You could assist Verdi to make that flat, so it would be perception or survival.
Well, I have a plus 12 in perception, so I'll use that.
Right on.
That's a 23.
23. Yeah, that'll do it. Verdi, you notice other things in the woods, not just the markers and the colorful flags that are pinned to trees. You see sprung tripwires. You see the depressions that cleverly hide spike pits that have been disturbed. You see the glint of iron. You see the glint of iron clasping bear traps, recently snapped, some of which are marred with black blood. There has been movement in this area. Traps have been tripped. These are signs of conflict. These are signs of confrontation.
Looks like the undead have attacked here.
So, Verdi, as you mull that information over, do you share that?
Yes.
All right, who are you sharing it with? Who are you with at the moment?
I would assume Karn.
Oh yeah, you helped him. What the fuck am I saying? Yeah, Karn. As Verdi points things out, it checks out to you. Karn, roll me just a flat d20. This is going to be a fate check,
Oh shit.
just to see if something happens. $12. Something, you can't quite put your finger on it, but something is definitely off about more or less the entire scenario. Something about the movement, the direction, the traps being tripped in such a way, and just some of the disheveledness of the area as the boat carries you through it. You can't place it. But somehow this is familiar in a way that makes you feel heavy. Kind of dread begins to set in.
With the traps in the disarray, does it look like they were fleeing something and trying to stall for time, or?
Roll me insider investigation as you rapidly approach your destination.
I'll go insight.
Okay, dirty 20. So, dirty 20 on an insight check. The feeling is definitely buy for time. It's almost as if the traps were a wall, a perimeter, that a breach had occurred here.
That resonates.
That resonates. So, you guys approach. Does anyone make any kind of action before we resolve into the next scene?
Well, Biff is gonna just follow along and watch the scenery, make sure nothing untoward happens.
All right, let me grab some people.
Actually, what's his name? Buddy Holly, is probably smelling all the decay and such.
It's an undead barbecue, bro.
This one does not like this.
Well, looks like you're getting ready for kind of a fight, maybe?
There, well, the traps are disrupted. There was a battle and something pushed through. These ones should take care.
I can maybe go scout something to see what's the what. Actually, yeah, he's gonna take the form of a bat.
Form of bat.
Form of a bat.
All right, so Banji, you were aroused. It's early in the morning, but there's a lot of action happening. Yeah, you take the form of a bat. You just bamf into bat form. I'm assuming you hand Buddy Holly off to someone else to watch.
Yeah, who actually likes Buddy Holly?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer.
Wouldn't hand him to Bones.
What hand of bones? You might lose your dog. I can fix him! No.
Well, what Karn's going to do is Mbanje is taking it to scout.
You faded out?
Yeah, you faded, bro.
Sorry, I had my headset aside.
Too much hang with Mbaje.
Since we rested and I have spell slots back. There we go. While Mbanje's scouting, I'm going to use Commune with Nature again, because why not, now that I've read this spell.
Oh, Worm?
Yeah, now that we're in camp and investigating, I'm going to use Commune with Nature to get a sense of what's going on within the 3-mile radius.
All right, so you haven't yet reached camp. You guys are rapidly approaching. No one has told Roar to slow down for any kind of stealthy business. So, Bat and Banji, you're kind of flying off of the ship, but you should be able to keep up as Bat.
If they had, sorry, I thought they were a little closer. He's gonna hold off on that then.
Yeah, sure. You'll hold off on that for now. I don't know if anyone wants the ship to stop or to,
Yeah, Verdi would have went and told Roar what he saw.
All right, does that change anything for Roar? Or are we still going full bore?
Still going for still going full bore.
Hell yeah! If there's people to help, you gotta be quick about that shit, right?
Yeah,
So-
I'll call out that the smell kind of smells like disposing of bad bodies, and I'll point out the trail of smoke coming up, and note that it's at Camp Righteous, so it's possible they already took care of it, but it's also possible that we might need to help.
Okay. All right. So, first off, I just want to point out influence from other planes of existence. Are you trying to fucking derail my game, you son of a bitch? Okay, cool. That's super fucking relevant. Not in this, very moment, but hold on to that feather in your cap. So, you're approaching Camp Righteous. You can visualize it in your mind just based on the information that you're getting back. You're in the area, you're approaching it.
Now, to be fair, teacher, commune with nature means I only get to learn 3 facts of my choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pick your facts.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't overindulge.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm fucking wired right now.
No problem. So yeah, I'm definitely going to, I'm not really concerned about the terrain. I'm definitely interested in undead. Yeah, let's go for the influence from other planes of existence, because that is incredibly relevant to what's going on this island. And I want to, prevalent peoples and animals in the area.
Prevalent peoples, animals, influence from other planets. What was the third one?
Undead power. Undead is the name of the game these days. So, trying to sense presence is there.
All right. So, within 3 miles,
and we are zooming close.
We're zooming close. So, Fae, fiends, undead elementals. You do not sense powerful undead, but you do sense the presence of lingering, even weak undead. The pyre draws your attention, but it doesn't ping as like an active thing. You get the impression that there were undead here. They may not be active at the moment. Influence from other planes of existence. The green is extremely prominent everywhere. You feel that it is weaker in the direction that you're going, which is quite common when you approach like cities or settlements. Prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples. You do get this sense of that there are animals nearby where you're approaching, living animals, and that there are peoples nearby. Not a lot of them, but maybe like a very small village worth of people.
Okay,
so
I know
from a distance with the communion with nature, you do confirm that there are people alive. There were undead here.
It seems there was an undead attack. There are still many people here, remnants of an undead trace in the land. This one thinks it is safe.
Do we know who's maybe like down there then? Who came through and cleared the place?
Well, there are the dwarven surveyors.
Well, let's go down and greet them and see if they need any help with anything.
So, while this spell is going off and you guys are discussing the situation, Roar, you come to a break in the tree line, and you see in the distance the mounds of earth, the almost mountainous excavation site of the House of Man and Crocodile, the stone statue and the temple within emerging from where the excavators had dug to study and uncover this ancient temple, laden with traps as it was. From your distance, and with your companions kind of watching on, you see a great deal of the camp has been damaged. There are what appear to be some tents that have been reduced to some cinders, some partially burnt. A number of storehouses appear to have been damaged in some way. The temple itself appears to be untouched by what looks to be a fracas that had taken place in the distance. You see there are a number of animals, large pigs and chickens and sheep, kind of meandering, some on top of hills, some scurrying away. You see a number of what appear to be rangers, armed and keeping watch, surveying the area. You draw the attention of several as your boat begins to approach. But it does appear that Camp Righteous is in disarray. You count at least 12 people upright and moving, picking up the pieces. And the other prominent thing that you see is a large pyre, some meters, some distance away from the camps and the House of Man and Crocodile, piled high with charred forms. I'll say that even from a distance, you see that there are two rangers heaving a limp body, pale of skin, wearing tattered clothes, onto the pyre. It quickly starts to char and burn. As the party approaches, more people take notice. You see in the distance several of the rangers. They don't form a cordon, but they do kind of place themselves between you. A line forms. Breaking from that line, you see a gray-haired gnome step out from within the line of people who appear to be prepared to intercept you. And Donovan Dundugger, the researcher you had received this boat from, calls out sharply and shrilly,
What in the God's name did you do to my boat?
and I think that's a fine enough place to end tonight's game.
All right.
Hey!
And
A good end cap for the session.
I think it's a good end capped. Thank you guys so much for playing tonight. It's a late start, kind of a short one, but
Yeah, sorry about the late start, everybody. Liam's picked up some habits.
those are
No
some habits.
worries.
But you know what? I don't think I had it in me to run an actual full 3-hour session. So I do. It is happenstance, but I think it worked out in my favor because I'm starting to peter. So thank you guys so
Thank
much
you.
for playing.
That was a good transitional game.
Good transitional game. Now we're back into adventures and shenanigans and whatever the fuck has happened here. To do. What's my to do?
I get to relearn just how broken druids are.
Druids are amazing. We love them. All right, so Vanya Wizard spell.